What's up? It's Young Badman again. Got another deck profile today. Last time we did the Son Goku GT from the starter deck, and today we're doing the Masked Saiyan from the Darkness Invasion starter set. This leader is very good. He's one of the best leaders in the game right now. Starts off as Masked Saiyan and awakens into Bardock, Unbound by Darkness. It's the same on both sides. Activate main once per turn. Place the top 3 cards of your deck to the drop area. If you place a black card, he gains critical, and if you get a card of any other color, he gains 5,000 power. This is really good because it sets up your drop zone for the overall mechanic, and it allows you to apply a lot of pressure to your opponent with an extra 5,000 power and critical. And they're gonna either have to send their life to the drop or use a lot of cards trying to defend against this. So that's why this leader's having a lot of success nowadays. Now this is a starter deck mod, just like the last video. This deck doesn't take any super rares, it doesn't take any promos, doesn't take any expansion cards, anything like that. Like, this deck is, accessible with just 2 starter decks and then, a couple of commons, uncommons, and rares from the booster packs, which are super easy to come by. So if you're looking for an easy way to get into the game, then stay tuned. So the starter deck is black and green. That might not be the best color combination for Masked Saiyan right now, but for the sake of making the deck accessible, I'm sticking with black and green. I tried to, put in like the best cheap green and black cards I could find to have a solid plan. So, alright, let's get to it. First off, 4 Trunks Bridge to the Future. These cost 1 green. When you play this card, look at the top 2 cards of your deck. Choose 1 Saiyan among them, add it to your hand, and put the rest in the drop area. This is one of the best turn 1 plays you can do because it sets up your drop area for overwhelm and it nets your extra card. A lot of the cards in this deck are Saiyan, so this shouldn't miss too often. But if it does miss, it's cool because you just got 2 cards in your drop for overwhelm later on. So we're going to keep that there. Next, 4 Scythe Goku Black. I didn't think this card was that good when it was spoiled, but after playing with it, this is one of my favorite cards now. When you play this card, play 2 shadow tokens. Then you can choose a Zamasu from your deck and add it to your hand. And if you do, drop a card from your hand. This deck doesn't run Zamasu. I tried it with Zamasu in here. I didn't like it. But it's mainly for the shadow tokens. This card's got 15,000 power, so it's going to be swinging at their leader, and they have to block it or they take a damage. And you get the 2 shadow tokens, which you can use offensively or defensively. Even with stuff like KL out right now, this is still a really good card. And there's a card that there's combos with in the deck, which is really nice. Next, Energy Power Gotenks. I got 4 of these. Old school card from set 1. It comes with 4 of them in the starter deck too. When this card attacks a leader, your opponent chooses a card from their hand and places it in the drop area. It's a real nice mid-range card. 15k power. If they take the hit, then they're not gaining any cards because they have to discard. And if they block the attack, then they're losing 2 cards. So this card is, pretty good turn 3 and it's really good late game too. Mostly it put it in the energy, but it's still there. Pretty good 3-drop, and it's a Saiyan, so you can hit it off the Trunks. Next, I got 3 Unyielding Justice Super Saiyan 2 Trunks. 20,000 power blocker with barrier, which is really good. And when a card evolves into this card, draw a card, so it replaces itself. The 20,000 blocker is pretty good to stave off, like rush attacks or whatever. And it's got barrier, so they're not just going to be able to pop it or whatever. And it evolves off of the Trunks Bridge from the Future for 3, a green and 2. Yeah, I really like this card. I think it fits really well in this deck because you'll have a big blocker while you're swinging with your beefed up critical leader, and then you can just stop attacks with that. So yeah, I'm a big fan of this card, and I think it performs really well in this deck. Next, I got 2 Furious Yell Vegeta. It's got double strike for 4, and activate main once per turn. Place 1 card from your life into the drop area. Choose one of your opponent's battle cards and KO it. It's just another form of removal, and most importantly, it helps you awaken. It's not a lot of cards that help you awaken that aren't super expensive, for obvious reasons. So I included this to help awaken, so you won't get stalled out. It's once per turn, but you know, if you don't attack with it and leave it active, it might live to use it more than once, and you'll just get more than one thing off their field too, and it'll help you awaken quicker. Only 2 copies, so it doesn't clog. You know, you don't really need it after you drop past 4 life, so it's only got 2 copies. And for the last of the green cards, one of my favorites, Super Saiyan Gotenks. It's a rare from set 1 Galactic Battle. It can evolve off of the 3-drop Gotenks for 4, but you don't really need to do that. It's got double strike, 25,000 power, which is a really good number. And when you play this card, choose up to 2 of your energy, switch them to active mode, then draw a card. So you're pretty much playing a 25,000 double strike for 3 energy, which is what you want to do with a deck like this. You want to play, you know, a big threat for cheap every turn. Swing at that, swing at your buffed up crit leader, and just try to out advantage them. So a card like this is really good because you're only paying 3 energy for a huge power, and it replaces itself because you get to draw a card. So these are all the green Saiyans that I have in the deck. Like Trunks can nab any of these off the top. I wanted to include a lot of targets so that this Trunks can be really effective. It's one of my favorite cards in the deck. I'm gonna set this over here. Okay. Next, on to the black cards. 3 Towa Space Time Unleash. It's a 1-drop. When you play her, look at top 7 cards from your deck and choose a Mira or a Masked Saiyan from them and add it to your hand and then shuffle your deck. I just have this in here as an alternate 1-drop. It could probably be replaced, but you know, if you go first, you probably want to be playing. If you go first or second, you want to play something on your first turn and nab you another card. That's why I've got her in here. I only got 3 copies because you don't want to be playing it too much later in the game. So, just like Trunks, I got a lot of cards she can grab. 4 Power Aura Mira. This card is insane. People are sleeping on this card. Like, they're not using it right now, and I don't know why. It's got Overwhelm 3, which is extremely easy with your leader, since he sends the top 3 cards of your deck to the drop, so you're going to be able to bring this out whenever you want. And it has a permanent effect. When you have 3 or more cards in your warp, which you will because you overwhelmed him, he gains 5,000 power. And if you have 5 or more cards in your warp, he gains an additional 5,000 power. So with 5 cards in your warp, this guy's 25,000 power. And he can come out for free. Or if you don't want to overwhelm him, you can just pay 3 for him. 3 for 25,000. Really good. So that's why I included 4, and it's a mirror, so you can hit it with Towa. Then I have 3 Relentless Destruction Mira. It's got Overwhelm 3, and when you play this card using Overwhelm, your opponent chooses 1 card in their hand, places it in the drop area. It's just really a mirror to hit with the Towa. You can overwhelm it or whatever, and they'll have to drop a card. And it's good when you do that because, you know, it synergizes with your leader. If they drop a card, that's less cards for them to block your critical attacks. So 3 of these. I like to play this, you know, when my opponent's low on cards to make them drop even lower. Or or against combo decks, this is really good too. And lastly, for the cards that you can hit with Towa, 3 Encroaching Threat Mass Saiyan. This card also comes in a starter deck. You can't get it out of a booster. It costs 4. It's got a permanent. It can attack cards, battle cards that are in active mode. And when you have 7 or more cards in your warp, reduce the energy cost of this card in your hand and warp by 1. So, this card can come out for 3 and attack active mode battle cards. This is really a removal spell. You know, for 3 energy, he's got 20,000 power, which is above the curve, above, you know, average, and he can attack active mode battle card. Just a way to get a blocker out of the way or whatever. It's not a bad card. I think it works really well in this deck because a trend with this deck is playing stuff that costs less, that has more power. Just, you know, get value out of the cards you're playing. And since you can attack active mode battle cards, you can get rid of a blocker so your leader can get that crit in. That critical is so important for pressuring your opponent. The last package I have in the deck is 4 Unrelenting Assault Trunks. It's got Overrun 3. And when this card is sent to the warp from your battle area or deck, add it to your hand. So this card will always be in your hand. You can overrun this every turn, and it'll come back so you can just keep bringing it out every turn. Try not to get rid of too many of these because you need them for Killer Sword Trunks. This one also is also a starter deck exclusive. It's got Xeno Evolve for 4 energy. You can send a Trunks Xeno in your battle area to warp and play this card in active mode. And it's got 20,000 power double strike. And when a card evolves into this card, choose up to 1 battle card in your warp with an energy cost 3 or less and play it. So if you want, you can just bring out another one of these. Or you can bring this guy out if he's in your warp. Or you can bring this guy out if he's in your warp and just get a lot of value. So yeah, like I said, you're playing cards to get a lot of value out of them. This one costs 4. You gotta have a Trunks to evolve to get the effect. But for 4 energy, if you bring this out with this and you get the shadow token, this can swing for 35 if you combo with this and all the shadow tokens. This Killer Sword Trunks card is really good, and you just can get it out of the starter deck. So that's all of the battle cards that you intend on playing for their energy costs or overwhelming. Next up, the last 10 cards of the deck are ones that just support your deck's overall plan or your leader pretty much. 4 super combos, Supreme Kai Tom Rose Protector. This one's a little different from the other colored ones. Since this one, when you combo with this card, if there are 5 or more cards in your warp, then it gets to 10,000 power and draw a card. So you can use this one in any deck as long as you can send cards to your warp. But obviously you'll be sending cards to your warp in this deck since you have so many overrun cards. This is also really nice because you don't have to be at 4 life or less to use this. So if your opponent is going to send a big critical hit at you before you awaken, you can combo with this to stop it. And other colors can't do that. Then 3 No Openings Son Goku. It's a 3-drop for 15, but you're never going to play it. During your turn, at the end of the battle, after you combo with this card, if your leader is yellow, play this card in rest mode. Your leader's not yellow, so you won't be able to play it in rest mode. But after you combo with it, you can choose a card from your life and add it to your hand. That's the reason I have it in the deck, just to help awaken. You don't want to make a deck without any ways to add life to your hand, because if your opponent knows that you don't have any cards to, get you out of that 4 life, then they're just going to leave you at 5 life until they can build up a huge board and take you out on 1 hit. So cards like this help you, awaken quicker so you can catch up with them. It also has 10,000 power, which is really good with your leader early game because it'll have critical. And lastly, but definitely, absolutely not least, you can probably guess what this card is because you haven't seen it yet. 3 Further Destruction Champa. When you combo with this card, choose one of your attacking cards and it gains double strike for the duration of the battle. Obviously, extremely good with your leader. Double strike critical is no joke. It really hurts, and you want to be putting that hurt on your opponent. So I had to include these in the deck. So I probably jumped the gun on going over some of the combos, but obviously this one is one of the best. Double strike critical, super good. Killer Sword Trunks, bringing out this guy to bring out the tokens for a huge strike at the end of the game. One of my favorite combos as well. Also bringing this guy out to get rid of blocker to go for game. You can also bring this guy out with him, so you'll have a 20k double strike and a 25k on the board as well. And this card also combos really well with this, as this guy comes out for free since he's overrun 3, and for 1 energy you can give him double strike. He'll be at 35 double strike for 1 energy, and that's a lot for your opponent to handle. Yeah. Let's see, any other combos? I think that's about it really on the combos. You can really aggro them out with this card because, if you're milling every turn, you're going to have 3. So that's, another 15. That's another card from their hand. They're going to use a card from their hand to stop that. So you just want to whittle their hand away with crit and, stuff that they need to guard until you just out advantage them and take the game away. So yeah, that is the deck profile for Mass Saiyan, the starter deck mod. Yep, this deck doesn't take any promo cards, no super rares, just stuff from the starter deck and some rares from booster packs. Now, there are a lot of ways to build the Mass Saiyan leader, because the card's just so versatile. It doesn't really lock you into one deck type. So if you want to expand on this, you don't have to stay black and green. I actually think black and red is the best way to play right now, but green's still pretty good too. So just for the sake of keeping it simple, I'm going to show some cards you can use to upgrade the black and green version of this deck into a more solid competitive deck. So, first off, if you are lucky enough to get your hands on a Villains expansion box, these 3 cards are really good to add to the deck. Town Patrol Trunks is another Xeno Trunks for the Killer Sword Trunks to evolve off of. And it's just one of the best cards in the game right now. For overrun 3, you got the top 2 cards of your deck. Put up to 1 in your hand, and then put the rest on top or bottom. Like, it just doesn't get any more value than this card here. And it's Xeno Trunks, like I said, so you can evolve the Killer Sword on top of it. Mira from the Darkness is another great card for a deck like this. It got Overrun 4, and when you play with Overrun, it gains critical for the duration of the turn. So, it just really complements your leader. You can, mill 3, swing at them for 20 crit. They might block it or whatever, guard to not take the damage. Then you drop this bad boy here. You overrun the cards you just sent. swing with another 20 crit, and then on top of that, put that Further Destruction Champa on there, and hit him for 2. This card is just super good, and this card, even if you can't get your hands on a villain box, it's still pretty cheap right now. I'm pretty sure it's relatively cheap as of the recording of this video. This one, however, isn't, but if you can get your hands on it, it's super good, and you can use this in a multitude of decks. And the Masked Saiyan Mysterious Warrior, it's got Overwhelm 5 for 1 energy. It's got Double Strike, and when you play with Overwhelm, you choose any number of your opponent's battle cards without blocker, for which the total cost adds up to 5 or less, and send them to the warp. So it's just another removal spell. You know, cheap removal is what you want in a deck like this. Cheap everything is what you want in a deck like this. You want to pay less for the same strong effects your opponent's getting. This one right now isn't too strong because of the there's a lot of blockers in the meta right now, and it's a lot of cards with barrier. But, you know, it's still, you know, a viable card for the deck. And I think this one's not that expensive either, if you can't get your hands on a villain box, but you still want to pick this card up. Some more black cards that would fit in here. The Increasingly Evil Masked Saiyan comes out of the Crossworld Special Pack. This card comes with 4 booster packs and this promo card here. For Overwhelm 4 and 1 energy, you bring it out, and when you play this card Overwhelm, choose a card in your life and add it to your hand. And if you do, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost of 5 or less and send it to their warp. So this card serves double duty in removing their battle cards from the field and getting you closer to Awaken. And it's got a solid 20,000 power as well. So you definitely can't go wrong with this. I definitely suggest picking this one up. And this one also goes good in a lot of other decks too. This card is, you're guaranteed to get it if you get a Crossworld Special Pack, and it's not that expensive right now either. Trunks Power Overseeing Time. So another Xeno Trunks, so, you know, Killer Sword, woohoo! Overwhelm 4 for 2 energy. It's got Double Strike, 20,000 power. And when you play this card using Overwhelm, choose up to 1 battle card in your warp and add it to your hand. Most of the time, you'll be getting a super combo with it. Or you can grab another Trunks Power Overseeing Time, and then you can just keep looping that every turn for a 20k Double Strike every turn for 2 energy, which is, you know, another solid play that you can do with this deck. Now for the green cards, only other green cards I would suggest adding to improve this would be what I like to call the vegan package. Saiyan Teamwork Kaba, Unstoppable Ambition, Super Saiyan Khalifa, and Hidden Awakening Kale. These cards are very expensive right now, but very worth to include in any deck running green. The Kaba costs 2 green and reduces the energy and splash fly energy cost of Kale and Khalifa by 1 green. And when you play this, you got the top 10 cards of your deck, which is great. Like, most cards make you look at 7. This one lets you look at 10. And you can grab a Khalifa or a Kale, so there are 2 targets you can hit with this as well. Add it to your hand, shuffle your deck. If you hit Khalifa, you get to bring her out. She's got 2 permanent skills where your battle cards can be KO'd and placed in a drop area by your own skills. And when she enters the battle area, or when you play her, choose a card from your life and add it to your hand. That effect is mandatory. So early game it's really good, but once you get past 4, you don't really want to be laying her down. She comes out for free with the Kaba, which is a crazy strong combo. And once you got Kaba out, she costs only 1 green energy. She's got 20,000 power, which is beastly for, you know, 2, 1, 0, however much you're paying for. And then Kale, everyone knows Kale. She's got critical. And when you play her, choose one of your battle cards and KO it, and then choose any number of your opponent's battle cards, which total cost equal up to 5 or less, and KO them. This card is especially good in this deck because not only if you have, you know, the Khalifa to make it so you don't have to sacrifice, you can just overrun, swing with the overrun card, and then play KO your overarm card. It was going to leave the field at the end of the turn anyway. Now you just got even more value out of it. And when KO attacks, if you have 5 other cards in your hand, draw a card. Super good card. 4 copies of each of these will increase the power of this deck tremendously. But like I said, they are expensive, so I understand, you know, if you don't want to cash out on them. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for this deck profile. Here's a full overlay of the deck, so you can see how many of each card and all the cards look like and all that. Since this is a beginner-friendly deck to get people in the game, I'm going to put the deck list in the description, so you can just copy and paste it or whatever. But yeah, let me know what you think about this. If I can get 6 likes, I'll do another budget deck profile. I'll do one for a blue leader, green leader, or a yellow leader. Leave a comment as which one you want to see. And smash that ML subscribe button. And see you guys next time. Thanks.